So a lot of people think that you have to save huge dollars or you have to do crazy numbers because they see them on social media to actually make real money long term. And I want to show you how just saving an extra 5% can really change your life in meaningful ways. I'm going to walk through examples today, exactly what those numbers look like by income brackets, and then also a functional way in a systematic way to actually start that process. So let's walk through it, guys. How much saving just 5% more can change your life. So we're going to do an exercise here to explain different income levels. So your income is not going to be exactly on the dot for any of these. Just think about the range that you're going to fall within based on the income. So we have $50,000 all the way up to $500,000 of income, and this is income on an annual basis. So annually, somebody's making $50,000, $100,000, 150,000, 200,000, etc. Let's say right now they're saving 10% of their gross income. So their household income, this could be single person, married, filing jointly, it doesn't matter. Let's say they're making 150,000, right? And they're saving 10%. So that would naturally be $15,000. If they invested that savings, and I'm not saying save that money in a high yield savings account or do anything, a CD or something stupid with it. I'm saying you've invested into properly diversified assets and it's asset located properly for your particular situation. You do a good job and you understand the investment game. You'll have almost $5 million, $2.467 million at the end of 30 years, assuming a 10% return, by the way. So $15,000 a year at a $150,000 salary, you have almost $2.5 million. What does that actually look like from a withdrawal perspective? If you withdraw 4%, which is a standard rule of thumb, you will be able to live on almost $100,000 per year at retirement age. And remember, during your earning years, you're at 150,000. And so that would be your gross income. And obviously at that stage of the game, you're saving a bunch of money. You're saving at least 10% based on this example here. So really you're operating out of a $135,000 lifestyle pre-tax. This money will be kind of a mixture of a few things. So there might be some pre-tax, there might be some Roth, there might be some taxable, but all in all, you'll have a lot less taxes at this stage of the game and your lifestyle will look pretty similar to what this is, okay? And so that's also in the future. And so lifestyle now might have kids, vacations, crazy, running around, different things that are applicable now, car payments, mortgages that won't be applicable in the future. So that gives you an idea of what your future looks like, $100,000 on an annual withdrawal basis. Now, let's just say, and we can do an example for all these individuals, we go from a 10% savings rate to a 15% savings rate. So just an extra 5%. This is the difference of what would happen in your given life. So in this example that we were kind of focused on right here, we were saving $15,000. If we were to save 15%, that would be now $22,500 based on the same income. Therefore, that difference annually from a savings perspective alone would be $7,500. Let's take out investing for a second. Let's just think about our lifestyle. Think what you could do with $7,500 extra dollars per year. A Hawaii vacation would fall in that. I can guarantee that. Potentially a new car that you pay a car payment on would definitely fall within that. Getting your spouse an engagement ring would definitely fall within that. There's a lot of things that you could do with an extra $7,500 in savings alone. So that's a huge, huge benefit in the here and now. But I always like to think about the here and now, but also the future as well. So what could that actually do over the long haul? That could give you a $3.7 million balance compared to that 2.4. That would have a $1.2 million difference in your situation over 30 years. That is a substantial amount of difference. And so when I explain to people how little things add up to big dollars, I mean it. $1.2 million. Think how many inefficiencies you could potentially have right now. How many times have I talked about tax inefficiency, investment fee inefficiency? Do you know how much you pay in your 401k or your IRA or your taxable brokerage or your HSA right now or your 529s? How much in fees are you paying? Are you paying an advisor? There are so many ways to make these more efficient models, financial models, to build exponential value into your life. The reason my students get such good results is because I'm an expert in this and I can find every little nook and cranny in your financial situation and say, if you change that, here's the result. If you change that, here's the result. And oftentimes we're looking at $4 to $5 to $10 million differences over 30-year periods because of this small little things that you don't really think that are that important or you don't value that actually are extremely important. And if you understand this, you can change your life in multiple ways. But believing that the small difference can create huge differences long term is the first step. If you don't believe that this can, then there's no hope for you. If you believe you can, you align yourself with the academy and Budgetdog Academy, which you'll go in the show notes below right now. You'll book your call with my team and you'll join the academy as soon as possible, because I will find all of this stuff within your situation. Maybe it's tax inefficiency. Maybe it's investing inefficiency. Maybe it's budgeting inefficiency. There's a lot of things we can do. Insurance inefficiency, estate planning inefficiencies. There's inefficiencies all over the map. Too much cash on hand. We see that a lot. Not efficient debt pay down. We see that a lot. Not efficient investment mixes. We see that a lot. We see so many issues across the board, and you have them if you're listening to this and you're not in an academy, because we have the perfect system for good reason. So if you're looking to level up, you need to be smart. You need to go down below and book your call with my team right now so that we can change this for you. And yes, it's a 4-figure investment. It is expensive because there's exponential value. So don't be cheap. If you're not looking to buy right now at a very high price point because the value you're going to get, please don't waste your time. And I say that jokingly, but serious at the same time. I love you guys, but I like to give you guys a hard time. I already can foresee, well, this is a 4-figure investment. Well, yeah, that's usually what happens when you provide extreme value, and you will get $1.2 million difference. I would pay that. I don't know. Okay, so let's keep going down the list. So your annual withdrawal lifestyle. So the lifestyle you actually live based on this accumulation of an additional 1.2 million will equate to $148,000 per year, which difference of that above is 49,000, basically $50,000 difference. $50,000 per year in retirement or early retirement would be the difference of this 5% change. 5% change. And that's just from 10 to 15%. Could you imagine if you went from 15 to 20%, 20 to 25%? If you have an efficient financial model that's automated and systematic, which was what we helped build in the Budgetdog Academy, you will add exponential value to your financial equation. You will live the life that you want to live. There's a reason we have thousands of people getting the results they're getting. And there's a reason all the wins come through at exponential rates, because of the stuff that we know and the stuff that we do and apply in your situation, and how little dollars can mean a lot. Oftentimes, guys, a 5% find is pretty simple. I can almost guarantee I'll find it in anybody listening to this situation. I will find a 5%. It's not made, it might not be savings dollars wise. It could be all the inefficiencies I talked about, but that will all equate to this in particular. So once you have that, once you've applied this stuff and you've actually began to understand the extra money is great, how do I systemize that to build a system and to start that process? We got to automate this entire process. The easiest way to go about this, guys, is understanding the basics of very, very fundamentally basic level. We have to understand the balance sheet first, and the balance sheet is just understanding our assets and values, or asset values and liability values. And so we're going to walk through understanding what your financial position currently sits at. This is step number 1. This is going to be a document that you update every single quarter, 4 times a year. You save archived copies and you see your progression over time. This is where millionaire status comes about, multimillionaire status comes about, because you're seeing your financial picture on a snapshot at any given point in time, not your income, your actual values of your assets and liabilities. This tells me how much I'm worth. In this situation, I just kind of gave a quick example, net worth allocation. This person has $563,000 of assets, which you also can see right here. And then they have total liabilities of $264,000, which you can see right down here. And the difference of that is $298,000. So their net worth is near $300,000. That gives us a starting point, a snapshot, and we should always know where we're sitting at. It's kind of like our weight. If we want to gain weight or lose weight, we got to know where we start. This is where we are. This is where we dream. This is where we think of our goals. This is where we create our goals. There's a lot more to this sheet, but this is the basic fundamental beginning of a balance sheet. The second thing we want to do is understand our amortization schedule. So anywhere down here where you see red, these are debts. We have student loan debt, we have vehicle debt, we have real estate debt. All of those should have an associated amortization schedule. This is a very simple tool that's automated as well. You input a few numbers in right here, up here in the loan data. And this table down below tells you how much principal, how much interest, how much additional principal payment potentially, if you pay that extra to pay down your debt, would take to wipe out this debt, and it will show you exact timeline. So this is an example right here, as you can see on the screen, is a $50,000 debt, 120 term in months. So that's essentially 10 years. And so if you go to the bottom, period is months, there's 120 months, so 10 years. A 5.175% interest rate and a total minimum monthly payment of $534. This would take 10 years as we know it. Now, if I know I have an extra, let's go back to the beginning here. I have an extra $7,500, I know I can apply that to that debt if I want to, if that's my goal. Maybe it's a different goal. Maybe it's investing. Maybe it's, other things. But let's just say in debt terms. So 7,500 divided by 12 is an extra 625 a month. So how much would this save now that I know I have my balance sheet, I have my snapshot, I know I'm saving an additional 5%, and now I know I have a debt problem I want to pay off. How can I effectively pay this debt off, and how much will this save me? How do I even know that? Well, I have a great tool that automates this for you. So if you put 625 right here, this table just updated for you below. So initially you were paying for 10 years, right? Now I'm going to go down here to where it's first crossed off. Boom, right here, this is crossed off. So I can go right over here, go up 47 months is what it's going to take. So initially I was paying 120 months. 120 months minus 47 months. I just saved 73 months of payments by applying $625 extra to this debt. 73 divided by 12 is I just saved 6 years of my life on debt payoff because I simply have numbers. I simply have a system. I simply know how to do this, but that's not the final step. That's the beginning step, knowing where your numbers are. Now, if it were me, I would go into, let's say this is a student loan of $50,000. I would go into it and I would make sure that this 625 is automated every single month automatically to additional principal payment so that the 6-year timeline or savings timeline is going to be reality for me. And that I'm only going to be spending 47 months, which is essentially 4 years, which initially I was spending 10 years on. And if I do that, it's going to work. I'm going to pay it off. It's just a matter of math at that point in time. And so I know my exact payoff. I just saved 6 years. Now it's a 4-year payment. Sounds pretty good. Extra money comes in, more savings come in. I can apply more. I can get more aggressive. I pay off another debt. I can take that principal payment, add it to the 625, so on and so forth. If I added in, extra 1,000, for example, that would take me down to, let's call it 35 months. 35 months is about 3 years. It sheds off another year of the 6-year payoff to 7 years. Now I have a 3-year payoff and so on and so forth. And I go automate that principal payment. I do not just manually do this stuff. I automate this process and I show it on my spreadsheet so I know exactly what's happening at all times, but it's all automated behind the scenes once I know the math behind it. The spreadsheets are not the answer. The spreadsheets are to get and calculate the math and show you the roadmap. Then you go automate your system behind the scenes to make this actually play out the way you want to play out. This is the key to everything. Once I have all my debts paid out, now the other thing I want to know is my cash flow, because my cash flow is ultimately what's going to win here, right? And so if I have $10,000 of take-home pay and I have $9,000 of expenses, I naturally have $1,000 left over that I can apply to my investments or my debt payoff or my financial goals that I have. And so I know there's a few things here. I can either increase my income or decrease my expenses. There is no secret here. To make this number down here, 1,000, bigger. As you can see, the savings and investments is a calculation. My incomes minus all my expenses, minus my savings and investments equals 0. This is zero-based budgeting in a nutshell. And if I know exactly that, I know exactly what my numbers are. I know this is the $9,000 that makes this up, and I want to speed my debt payoff from 3 years to 2 years. Well, we can do easy math. We can answer these questions because we have the right tools and resources in front of us. It's not hard. So let's just say I do 1,500. Let's see what that adjusts to. We want to see 24 months. So we're right above 24 months. Let's do, so $1,600 a month is going to take me to this 24-month payoff period, which we see because of the crossed out right here. And so I know I need $1,600. I know instantly over here, now I have $1,000. So I'm short by 1,000 or by $600. My deficit is $600. I know that I can either decrease my expenses by $600 or increase my income. If I increase my income 10,600, boom, I have $600 left over. Now this is $1,600 and I am zero-based budget. I'm also paying my debt off in 2 years. I'm also more systemized. I've automated this process. Reverse can happen as well. Instead of $10,000 to $10,600, I just take this down to $8,400. I have a $600 gap that I can fill. $1,600 now applied to my debts, pays it off in 2 years as well. I just readjust my financial picture. And now I automate this entire process. I automate my expenses so I don't go over this. I stay true to this. My income's likely fixed. My debt payoffs are automated through all my amortization schedules into the various portals that I have. And then also my investments, if I have investments at play to build the $1 million of wealth that I'm trying to build over here, I also automate all those investments. And when we automate those, because the spreadsheets tell us, the rest of the game's super simple. Why do you think I built so much wealth so fast? Because I have a very detailed system that's very simple to put together, that thousands of people have put together. In fact, we have 1,800 current students in our academy that have done and built this and have gotten the crazy results they do because they're doing exactly what I'm saying right now. This is for free information. Go apply it right now. Or if you're smart, you'll go in the show notes below, you'll book a call with my team, and you'll take your game to the next level, and you'll change your life exponentially, because that's what we do here, and that's what I expect my team to help you with. And so we will do this as long as you guys understand the key to this very, very big solution and big change is a simple 5% change to your life. Think about what I just implemented, showed you, and put into place. 5% change here will generate 7 years of debt payoff, will generate millions of dollars of extra. Everybody has it in their situation. I can guarantee it. If you're listening to this, you have this change that you can make, and we can implement and find the inefficiencies in your current financial picture to build a model that takes in complete efficiencies to help you out and put you in this spot. And I hope we find a way more than 5%. In fact, if we're only finding 5%, we have failed the game, and we oftentimes find way more than that. In fact, we have our average student pays off their debt payoff in 26 months earlier than they anticipated, and they save an additional $25,000 per year. So think about that in terms of just this sheet alone. Our average student is right here, $25,000 difference. Obviously our average student doesn't make 500,000, but their average student is saving an additional 25,000 on average. $25,000 on average, if applied appropriately, is a $4 million change. What did I say in the beginning? A $4 million change is pretty normal over a 30-year period within our academy. In fact, oftentimes it's 4 to about 10 million in total. I said it in the beginning. I just go off basic data, basic stats. Our average student does this. You can apply your situation and change your life by tons of money long term. It's on you to make the change. And again, this is exactly how small change can add up to exponential numbers. And I hope you take this to heart. I hope you book your call today. And I hope you join the academy and you work with us ASAP, because I want to make sure that you exponentially change this. I will see you next week.